Welcome to the RPG Podcast.
And we are live.
Oh, God, Patton!
Presented by SHEATH. A Time Wheel production.
Welcome, everyone, to the Robert Patton Global Podcast. We are here for another episode, and we have a Sambo Slice. Yeah, you're carrying the torch.
Yes, sir.
The steel mace flow movement, which I feel like I was part of the beginning of that movement as well, just sort of adopting it and practicing it and supporting it. But it's a great tool for upper body exercise. What's your kind of reasoning for getting into that whole thing?
Part of it was martial arts, man. One of my coaches over at the gym, he is our wrestling coach, and he was steel mace certified, and really just introduced me to it, introduced me to the clubs. I fell in love with the whole movement. I'm like, man, what is this? Let me find out more. At the same time, right before then, I was training jiu-jitsu, so that's my main squeeze is jiu-jitsu. And for me, it goes hand in hand. I'm like, man, there's a lot of similarities to this. Step-by-step processes, the fundamentals of it. It goes right in line with not only the steel mace flow system, but the On It Academy system. Mm-hmm. And just kind of went down that rabbit hole, man, and I'm still going down there.
Yeah, it's a deep hole, and it's an infinite learning potential with, especially speaking of jiu-jitsu, and then we add the mace and the clubs, and I have every single mace from On It, up to the 25-pound, what's that guy's, Alex Gray version with the four-sided face.
Oh, the quad god.
The quad god. That's what it's called.
Yes,
yeah. That man, and I started off, and when I first bought my first mace, I was like, I ain't getting no bitch-ass 10-pound mace. I'm getting a 15-pound mace. And immediately I was like, fuck, this thing's too heavy. And it's just 15 pounds, But then, so I got the 10, and I love the 10, and I still use it. Like, I don't use it as much as I guess I used to, but because I like tore my meniscus, and like I couldn't do those deep bends, those when you're swinging it around and bend to one side and bend to the other and whatnot. But I'm pretty much getting back into it as of recently. So, and as well as more kind of like heavy lifting techniques. I worked out with Stephen Wiley, a mutual friend of ours, and he gave me some. I need to get bigger. I need to gain weight. So I'm trying to lift some heavy shit right now.
Okay, I feel you, man.
Yeah,
I got all my maces in my living room. When I get bored, I just throw down some swings. I just throw down with some 360s.
Yeah.
10. Like, I just kind of go. I don't even count reps. I don't even go for time. I'm like, all right, what am I doing right now? I got about 5 minutes. All right, let me get some 360s in. And you just knock it out, man. Like, all right, do I feel like going heavy? Nah, I'm going to keep it light today. Or you know what? I'm going to go fucking heavy today. It's,
yeah, I mean, I remember one night I saw Serena, the steel mace gypsy. She did like 1,000 360s, and I was like, hell no, I gotta do that too. So I did 1,000. You're not allowed to put it down or something. There was some kind of challenge. So I remember doing that. But yeah, it just really kind of opens the back up and the shoulders and kind of loosens everything up. I kind of liken it to running with your upper body. Like, maybe, you know what I mean?
I've never heard that. That's a pretty good way to put it. I've never, because it kind of goes along with your stride. If you're doing 360s, that's almost like your stride when you're running, your gait.
Yeah, and that was, because I got like a little layer of fat on my upper body, and that's but my legs are skin tight, because I've always been like a runner, and I want that kind of skin tightness up on my chest and back, I guess. So that was my thinking. But how has your thinking evolved since you've been doing it or whatever?
So for the most part, of course, just kind of seeing Leo's flows and like, man, that's pretty beautiful. I want to do that. It
is. It really is.
You kind of dive into it, and there's like a point to where like, okay, I might not be able to do all of that, but I know I'm definitely capable at some point. And so the process of you learning how to do this stuff is the interesting part, because you can troubleshoot. There's a lot of trial and error. You can figure out what's working for you, what's not. What are your strong points? What are your weak points? And then you start to just kind of level out the playing field almost, to where it's like, okay, I like this one. Let me run with it. Okay, all right, now I like this one. Let me run with that one. So it's like a progression to it. And the same thing with jiu-jitsu. Like, you start to figure out your game, and you figure out what's working for you, what's not. Because I'm a little guy. I'm a short guy. I mean, first time I met you was over at Leo's first workshop over at the Ani Academy. That's where I got first introduced to SHEATH. And, man, that's all I wear now. So all my other underwears are out the door right now.
I appreciate that.
Dude, jiu-jitsu, steel mace, for me, they've always come hand in hand. So if I'm injured and I can't be on the mats, my martial art is the steel mace flow, just kind of picking apart different techniques, studying other guys, man, just a little bit of everything. Like, it's a movement practice. That's really what it is. If I'm getting 360s, go ahead.
No, well, I mean, there's different modalities, if you will. Like originally I saw even Aubrey Marcus just doing a steel flow or mace workout, not a flow. He wasn't doing a flow. He was like digging with it, doing like a digging motion, which was kind of cool. And I like that. And then you have the Viking Ninja or Ninja Viking. And I actually went and got certified with Leo and Serena, I think, at a Viking Ninja course here in Colorado. And they're just different. And I guess you're based on your preference. But there's this like kind of battle between the two styles and shit. I don't know if you know funny. About that. Yeah. The little insider information about politics of steel mace.
But well, that's the crazy part. So I did one of E6 workshop. It was a Viking Ninja when he came here to San Antonio. I went to my certification for steel mace flow, but it was a dual certification in Long Beach with Rick Brown as well.
Wow. And
so day one was steel mace flow, the first certification. The energy was high. We were in Long Beach. So, man, I had taken the edible before I got there. And, man, I was just like, all right, I'm just going to take this all in. Day two was the traditional stuff. The heavy mace swinging, the grave diggers that you're talking about that Aubrey Marcus was doing. Man, it was pretty crazy to see both sides of the spectrum come together for a 2-day certification. And I mean, mind you, over time, there's kind of been a little bit more beef and stuff like that. But it is what it is. People understand and can kind of filter out all that noise and be like, all right, I mean, I can resonate with this. This is something that resonates with me. And so there's a lot of people where they're like, all right, I don't really care about the beef.
Yeah. I know. That's just for controversy. But it's such a barbarian sort of fucking savage workout that takes you back 1,000 years and to what they were doing, primal workout. I love it.
Yeah, my dad is he's a pastor, he's a preacher, I consider him more of a teacher because he dives into the word, he finds the resources, and he saw me messing around with the mace, And so he's like, what is this about? Let me take a look at it. And he's like, man, this dates back to the Persian Empire. They consider the Gada, is what it was originally called. The Gada as like it's part of their religion. It's part of their culture, and it resonates. I mean, deeply, super deep into their culture and what they do. Not only for their athletes and the wrestlers, but when they went to war, this is what they use not only to train with, but to kill people. Man, like it's pretty rowdy to think about. Like this dates back. The tool that I'm using right now dates back thousands of years, and like, it was used for something different, but at the same time, it really wasn't.
Right. It's a tool as well as a workout object. And when you're swinging, you can if you get it, maybe channel some of that primal ancient energy, and it makes it a little bit more fun than just throwing dumbbells up in the air, bench pressing and whatnot.
Most definitely.
Which is what I love about that. And I have the clubs also, kettlebells, these are great tools as well. But still the mace is a special one because could easily be used to just knock someone's head right off.
It's crazy, man. Like people see me in the gym doing my thing, and you can tell. Like I know they see me, but they give me some space. They definitely give me some space because I'm moving around. And at the gym right now, we have blue tape that marks everything off. Everyone's been real cool upon reopening, but with social distancing, we have blue tape just for that reason, just to kind of, hey, give each other space. Everyone's here to do our thing. But they see me doing my thing in my given space, and they're like, all right, I'm going to give him time. I'm going to let him do his thing. It looks good, and it's a lot of it for me when I'm in the gym there, it's a lot of trial and error. Let me find something. I want to find a flow. I want to tap in real quick. If I have a short break from the desk, I'm going to hop off onto the floor and find like a 5 or 10 minute break to where I can find that flow a little bit. And if it's just me getting 360s with something heavy, I'm still going to find that flow. If it's me trying to figure out a new progression for my class, hey, I'm still going to try and tap in and find that flow. But you can do the same thing with the kettlebells. You can do the same thing with the clubs and even barbell, man. You see Leo mess around with the barbell and some pretty crazy stuff. But
yeah,
when you think about it, like, the mace has a little bit more flair to it. There's something deeper with the mace, which I truly enjoy. Again, it resonates it resonates deeply with me, and I try and portray that with my clients. Like, people come in, like, hey, I just want to teach you how to find your own movement. I want to teach you how to figure out your own workouts. I want to teach you really what I learned by experience, and I want you to go down that rabbit hole. So giving them the autonomy to figure that out on their own, man, it's pretty crazy to watch, pretty crazy to see.
So you're teaching people?
I do a Saturday class. It's a steel mace flow, and then we started classes back up on Tuesdays and Thursdays here at the gym. And it's a little bit of kettlebell, a little bit of body weight. I'll use med balls, but I introduced them to the mace, and people are really gravitating towards it. It's different. Again, it's different, man. So to see that light bulb light up, because it does seem kind of intimidating at first. I can kind of see it in their eyes. They're like, I don't know about this. But once they learn the technique, I'm like, man, okay, they're moving and grooving, dude. It's crazy. I love it.
Did you find as you started teaching that you developed a greater understanding as well?
Oh, most definitely, man. Like, of course, with jiu-jitsu, I'm on the mats. There's progressions to everything. You have white belts and you have blue belts on the mats, and everybody learns from everybody. So I have some people that have been training with the mace day one or month one. People who have been training with me with the mace for 3 years already. And we all learn together. We all take something different from it. And it's it's pretty enlightening for me because not only am I continuing to learn, but I'm able to get my clients and people that are coming to the door. And not everyone's interested. We're here in San Antonio, and I understand not everyone's gonna be interested in it just because it is kind of. I mean, it's out there, dude. It's unconventional. It's definitely unconventional.
Definitely.
But it's cool to see people like slowly start to. If I introduce it to them, give them a little taste of it, they either like it or they don't. It's not for everybody. Just like jiu-jitsu, it's not for everybody. But there's progressions to everything.
Well, speaking of jiu-jitsu, next time I'm in San Antonio, I'd love to get a roll in with you because I enjoy that. As I'm sure you know, it's just one of the best things. I like it more than the learning a new move. I have to go through the learning the new moves to get to the rolling. And I like to roll.
Yeah, man, that's where you troubleshoot. That's where the body troubleshoots.
It's so, I don't know, something about it, and everybody that does it knows what I'm talking about when I'm talking about rolling jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Like basically kind of sparring-ish. But I missed that, and I stopped doing it quite a while ago. I was going to Dominion MMA there in San Antonio by Fast Eddie's pool hall.
Yeah, man, it's down the street from me.
Yeah, great gym. I think I pissed off the coach because I would always go in there, like I would blaze up in the car and go in and just, I guess, reek of smoke, and I don't think he appreciated that. But like I think most people know that's what you do. You go in there because it loosens, I don't know, it loosens up the body, and you get that, I get like euphoria, if you will, or something, just a really good feeling.
No, most definitely, man. You're able to tap into the body a lot more, or your body's able to tap in a lot faster because you're not thinking so much. Mm-hmm. I noticed that with jiu-jitsu, that if I need to teach, I won't smoke. If I need to learn something new, I won't smoke. But if we're rolling, if it's open mat, dude, I'm all game. Because that retention, that learning retention, isn't there if I'm trying to focus on a new technique and I'm just there blown, like ready to roll or something. So
yeah. And I think I didn't want to go out in the middle of class and smoke, so I'd come in blown, if you will, and it does hinder your learning ability, to learn the new techniques and stuff. So, I stopped rolling for quite some time because it's hard to find. I don't know if that's true. A good gym. I guess these days it's not that hard to find a good gym. In fact, there's one here where I was just going to. I was going to Victory MMA here in Colorado Springs with the former UFC fighter, now head coach of the gym, Gilbert Smith, which he's like militant. He was in the Army and shit, and I like that because I was in the Army, and I like the no nonsense approach, just like quit being a bitch, do the work. And it's also includes boxing, which is also something I had never done and really enjoyed. I love hitting the pads now. It's something, if you haven't done that, it's a whole other kind of level of fighting and martial arts that it kind of gets downplayed or whatever, because with MMA, mixed martial arts, whatever. I guess they practice boxing too, but it's fun. It's really fun. So I like to do all of these things.
Like traditional schools, they're not gonna let you roll until you're a blue belt. For us at Submission Concepts, and again, you're more than welcome to stop by, man. I hope you do stop by and just to get the vibe. Not only is it cool at 365 at the gym, but on the end of the shopping center, we have your martial arts studio, and it's a laid back community. Everyone's just there to learn. Everyone learns together. You do have a fundamentals class. You do have an advanced class, but we're not trying to knock each other's heads out. We're not trying to break each other's arms and shit like that. So it, like for me right now, my focus is trying to figure out how I'm going to help the law enforcement here in San Antonio practice safe training to where no one gets hurt and then also like to where we don't have any more cases. I hear San Antonio right now is one of the best police departments out there. So whenever you hear that police officers aren't really getting so much training, they only get a certain amount of hours, blah blah blah. San Antonio is led in one of the most training because there's constant updates, and so when those updates happen, they teach their guys, all right, new stuff that's going on, and it might not be jiu-jitsu related, but they are taking a little bit more, taking more of that role and taking more of that training into their own hands. Some guys are reaching out, but to be honest, I was having a conversation yesterday that these guys don't want to get hurt, and if they get hurt, they're out of work, and if they can't work, that's no money. They can't pay their bills, they can't support their family, things like that. So right now, I'm trying to figure out how I can eliminate anybody getting hurt, make it super effective. Like our lineage right now is pretty strong. I mean, it's right there with the Gracies. We have a pretty solid lineage, so I want to be able to not only provide more value to our community, but man, our community is right there with the law enforcement. Like with everything going on right now in the United States with our country, things are hot.
Oh yeah,
things are hot right now, man. So like, it hurts.
And they need to practice like control, like self-control, and I think that comes with martial arts and training.
It comes with martial arts, but it comes with time. It really comes with time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, again, man, like this is something deep to my heart, because I see the effects day in, day out. But at the same time, I train with some of these guys. I train with detectives and guys that work at the academy, and they see it day in, day out to where, man, like these guys just don't want to get hurt. Like you can offer a free class, but they're not going to show up because, I mean, it might take them out of work or something might happen and they leave it up to chance, and that's it. Like, but that right now, that's my current project.
That's beautiful. My current project right now. Beautiful. I mean, I was in the Army, and we trained. We called it combatives, but it was derived off of jiu-jitsu and fighting for, getting in and out of the guard and get to full mount and arm bars and different, pretty fundamental type stuff. So I feel like for sure it should be trained with all police cadets, and even into their career, it should be almost mandatory, so that maybe they're not always, they don't always reach for the gun. That's so blown out of proportion. But, they make it seem like every cop is shooting somebody on the streets every day, and it's like that. Anyways, I know it happens too much. Once is too much, but it's like, anyways. But like, I feel like they could use like that training, and it's a stress reliever. It's a control kind of, like just that stress relief. When you leave the gym after a good session, nothing, you're just feeling good and whatnot. Not that I was in the Army, and I went to war. I went twice, so I have a tiny little inkling of what stress they might go through, but I've never had to walk up on a car and, thinking that my life might be taken, potentially have my gun drawn. So I don't know that kind of stress, but I feel like it can't hurt, and it can only help. I don't know. So I think that's a beautiful thing that you're doing. I would love to kind of be like, say, come get a free roll and get a free pair of sheath. I would do that because I support, first responders, Blue Lives Matter, and all of those, EMTs, firefighters, the whole nine, because it's super important for the community to feel safe and whatnot. So I think that's a beautiful thing that you're doing. I commend you.
Yeah, so we're a veteran-owned facility. There's two different entities. You have your Fitness 365, which is the 24-hour gym, and then you have Submission Concepts, which is a martial arts studio. And I originally got hired on as a sales associate I was actually going to leave for the Marines before I left. One of my guys I used to work with at Spectrum Athletic Club, he's like, hey man, are you going to leave? I need some help over here. It's close to your mom. It's close to home. You mind just helping me out a little bit? And I'm like, yeah, man, no problem. I went to go check it out, fell in love with it. And mom ended up getting sick. In 2017, she ended up passing with colon cancer.
Oh my God.
And but when I initially got hired on, it was around 2013, I believe. And then the martial arts studio came in in 2015. And I didn't start training until June of 2015. And so one of the guys introduced me to it. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. It's cool. It looks like, it looks fun, but I wasn't into it quite yet. And then dropped in on a class, did a month, and I had some low back issues at the time. And then once I got rid of that, I worked my way through it and got back on the mats. Fell in love with it. Right after that, fell in love with all the unconventional stuff that Onnit had to provide.
Mm-hmm.
But like seeing the guys that come in, we have a lot of law enforcement. We have a lot of veterans. Like we have all walks of life walking through the door. That's the crazy part. We have all walks of life coming into the door, coming into the studio, coming into the gym. And so for me to be able to like see some of that, meet some of the guys that are coming in, and like everyone's got a story, man. Like everyone's got a story. So to hear some of these stories and how jiu-jitsu has impacted them, how just working out at a 24-hour facility has impacted them, but more so on the martial arts side, has been pretty crazy. Some of the guys that come in, and if they're law enforcement, they can use some of this stuff in the line of duty, and really just comes with time. It comes with experience. It comes with you getting in there, doing the work, putting your mat time in, putting your reps in, drill. And from there, you figure out, like I said earlier, you figure out your game. You figure out what works for you. You figure out how you can apply it, not only on the mats, but off the mats. What we teach our kids in the kids jiu-jitsu program is, all right, you're going to come in and learn warm-ups. We get our technique in, and we finish out with some type of game or some type of rolling or something. Mm-hmm. But you're able to troubleshoot it on the mats to where you put yourself through that stress, and then off the mats, you're doing better in school. You're doing better at work. You're able to communicate with people. So when the kids come in, we're raising up leaders to where I'm not really going to walk a new student through warm-ups and all that. I'm going to let the other leaders, the other students who've been there for 2 or 3 years already, take their hand, walk them through shrimps, walk them through bridges, walk them through spider crawls, walk them through shoulder crawls, all of that. And they're able to communicate to a new student, and it's funny to watch. It's crazy to watch because they're trying to figure out how to communicate to a new student who isn't really getting it. And then when they do get it, it's like, man, okay, I had to change my verbiage. I had to change how I communicate to this person. So same thing translates with the law enforcement. They put the time on the mats. If they're teaching someone else how to do a particular technique, if you're working with your training partner, they have to communicate differently than they normally would. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so, like a different kind of, it's like certain people receptive to different communication styles, if you will. Or
yeah, man, it's crazy because the mats will just automatically do that to you, and all you got to do is just show up. That's all you got to do is just show up.
Yeah, I was the reason I was saying something about like I don't like doing the drills. I guess because I want to get straight to the fun, but I know the drills are important, and not that I feel like I don't even know if I'm a white belt, but what's after white belt? Like yellow or something?
Blue belt.
Blue. I don't know that I would be a blue belt. I was going to say I think I would be a blue belt, but I'm probably still a white belt. But it's so yeah. I need to practice more. I had this kid Dylan King. He's up here. I'm up in Colorado now, which I'm sure you're aware. And I was going to Victory MMA and doing the sessions, it was like I would go like Tuesdays and Thursdays or something, and we would do these circuit training sessions. But I'm like in there with professional fighters, which was awesome. And they're like the coach is training them, and I'm along with them, kind of just trying to keep up or whatever. And that was really motivating. And then so the first 45 minutes of the hour is killing yourself on different cardio tech, like medicine balls, push-ups, and like all the stuff that punching the dummy and or whatever, like little cardio things, circuit training. And then the last 15 minutes would be hitting pads, which that's where I recently had fell in love with that. Anyways, then I moved up here to to Woodland Park from Colorado Springs, and it's like a half hour away, and I'm literally living in like paradise. Like, so it's hard for me to want to leave. So I started paying Dylan to come up here and train me. So I bought some mats, and he's been coming up, and we'll alternate between the jiu-jitsu and boxing. Like one week we'll do jiu-jitsu, one week we'll do boxing. And but we still kind of do the traditional format we were doing at the gym, which is the like in the warm-up and then the cardio, and then we'd get to the good part. But I'm I know the shrimps, and I know a lot of just the really basic fundamentals. And so I don't know where I was going with that, other than I've been doing it since I was 21-ish, 22, maybe 20. My friend took a class with this former UFC fighter, Mike the Joker Guyman, and I wasn't going to the class, so he would go to the class and then come to my house, and we would just do it. We would like push the fucking couches and everything aside and open up the living room and just roll. And I've always loved it. It's just a beautiful thing. It's fun, and I feel like you said, all walks of life are coming through your doors. And I feel like from computer nerds to like bodybuilders or whatever should be doing this for their own, for mental health and confidence. That was one of the biggest gifts or something that I got from doing jiu-jitsu, is like I went from knowing nothing and kind of walking in a way where someone might pick on me, then like if they saw me because I looked like an easy target to then I walk with confidence afterwards. Even not that I would kick anyone's ass, but having a confidence that at least I wasn't going to get my ass kicked. I could kind of protect myself. I'll just wrap them up, and it's hard to hit somebody really hard when they're on like, hugging you or whatever.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So this knowledge is so just beneficial, and people, and it's growing, and I'm sure exponentially, and I think that's a great thing. I mean, almost any martial art, I would say, teaching that, it just like, I even like Cobra Kai. I was watching Cobra Kai and yeah, hello.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. It just giving you that confidence to not be scared. Fear is a horrible thing to be walking around with. So that's kind of go ahead.
Yeah, so that's with the students that we have at post, like, I don't want to say post-COVID because they're not over, but upon reopening, you can tell that people are ready to find something deeper. You can feel that people are ready to get out of the house and learn something new. The
physical contact too. Like, I'm sure I just wanted to say that and continue.
No,
old age.
That's it, man. Yeah, the physical contact.
Yeah, after COVID, which, like you said, is not quite over, but things are opening up, and we were isolated, and to get back to that connection is something I think we all need, but maybe don't even know.
Yeah, there's a deeper understanding now. I feel like there's been a paradigm shift of the mindset to where, okay, I'm smart enough to do my own research now, but at the same time, nothing replaces that in-person training. So I can only do so much online.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You can only do so much online, which is cool. It'll only carry you so far. But once you get a coach, once you get someone to help you out and walk you through the stuff that you will probably never even think about, run you through techniques, run you through workouts, or whatever it is that you plan to do, finding that movement practice, you can tell people are hungry now. And that's the cool part, because we're not a big gym. We're a smaller gym. We're real laid back. It's low key. You come, the atmosphere is real chill. You come in, do what you got to do, and you're out the door, man. Put your work in, put your time in. I tell people, put your reps in, dude, and you're good to go. But nothing replaces that in-person training. People are now starting to search online what to do, how to do it, and it'll only take you so far. So when you get that physical contact, when you get when someone actually grabs your wrist and you got to figure out what to do from there, like, oh shoot, all right, that changes the dynamics. You take it to a chemical level, and someone grabs your wrist with some force and they pull you and you don't know what to do. It sends those fight or flight signals to the brain, to that the sympathetic nervous system, like fight or flight. I'm almost like I'm getting chased by a lion type situation. If you're able to calm that, if you're able to bring your parasympathetic nervous system into action, you're able to rest and digest. You're able to figure out and troubleshoot how to get out of it. My girlfriend, she does our women's self-defense program there at the gym. She also teaches the kids Taekwondo, the Mudu Kwan. And one of the first things you learn is how to get out of a wrist grab. If someone grabs your wrist, how to get out of it, how to hold your base, how to keep your composure. Then you go 2 hands on 1. And from there, you figure out choking series. Someone's choking you on the ground. Someone's choking you against the wall. Someone's got you pinned against a corner and they're choking you. If someone's pulling your hair, if someone's just grabs you like a bear hug from the front or the back, like, are you going to freak out in that situation, or are you going to know what to do and keep your composure? So the online stuff is cool. Like, slowly for us, we're transitioning everything online, but like, people know that, like, all right, there's only going to be a certain point. I can only get so far with it until I really have to come in and work with the coach and figure out the more intricacies of this martial art, of whatever it is you decide to do, whatever movement practice you decide to do. But when it comes to self-defense and actual, like, survival skills, nothing replaces that in-person training. So these law enforcement officers that are out there doing their thing, man, I invite anyone to come by, because there's nothing that replaces it. Whatever amount of training you might be going through right now, seek a coach, seek someone who's going to help you out, find someone who's knowledgeable, someone like a legit black belt. And again, I apologize for having that incident at Dominion, to where I don't want to say it turned you off, but at the same time, like, you're not going back there.
Not to that gym. It didn't turn me off to the sport at all. It was just that particular gym. I still love it and I promote it, and I think it's one of the best things anyone can do for themselves. And if any law enforcement do go to his class, I would, hit me up and I'll prepare a sheath just to top a little icing on the cake. Because it's much needed. It's totally something that and just having a coach in general, like, that's something I learned slightly later in life. When you're young, you think you know everything, and so I don't need a coach. I can do it on my own. But you don't know how far you can go until you have someone else kind of there giving you direction, because it's so easy for you or me or whoever to, go to the gym, put in a workout, maybe half-ass it a little bit, leave early, don't do all the reps, or like maybe look online, but don't fully retain or get, the concept like you can if somebody's there seeing what you're doing and then making the, real-time corrections and coaching you, pushing you, having other peers around maybe even helps that to keep you motivated to, I don't want to be that one to quit early, you didn't make it to the Marines, and that's probably a good thing. I mean, it was, I did 6 years in the Army, and it was a beautiful, horrible experience. It was just like, I'm really glad I went through it. But the stuff I got out of it, like basically becoming a man, if you will, even though I was 26, I still wasn't even a man yet. But when I went through it all, and it was like a coming of age. And so, but I feel like you can get that through martial arts if you put in the work and show up, and you can't just do one session. I'm talking like years probably before you get that full transition in. But
yeah, if to be honest, if I had left to the Marines, I wouldn't have probably picked up jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about. I think about it pretty often. I'm like, man, what would I be doing right now if I left for the Marines? Where would I be right now in the world if I had left? But I mean, I couldn't leave, man. Like my mom was going through some medical stuff. I told her, I was like, man, if you leave, like, if this is it, I'm moving to Colorado. I'm up and out of here. I'm gonna do my own thing. And she's like, no, you can't. You gotta stay, help your brother. You gotta take care of your brothers. You gotta take care of your grandma.
Wow.
And that's exactly what I did, man. Like I mean, like, I might not have much. I live very minimalistic, but like, I walk to work every day. I haven't had a vehicle like in 6 years now, so I walk, ride my bike, and like I'm cool with that. And like, I mean, here I got a girlfriend, and she's starting to want some of that stuff of the whole thing that I mean, it's family and things like that. But like, I'm not really too worried about it. I know things will come accordingly. That's the cool part. I know things will come accordingly. Just like jiu-jitsu came into my life accordingly, just like the steel mace and all the unconventional stuff coming accordingly. I'm doing this right now because I don't want others to go through the same thing that my mom went through. So if there's anything that I can do in my power to minimize any of the effects of like being caught up in like being just prescribed narcos and big pharma and things like that, you know what I mean? Like, we can go.
Oh yeah.
We can go down that route, like left and right, but like, bottom line is, are we getting to the root of the cause? I want to help you get to the root of the cause to be able to do these things on your own. I want you to have autonomy over your workouts, autonomy over your life. You were born for a purpose, but you probably don't even know that purpose. I don't even know that purpose, but I'm out here grinding it out, and I want you to be able to share this information. Whatever it is, I want to be able to share the stuff that I'm currently going through or have gone through, so you can live a little bit better life, that 1% better, as they say, every day. But like, when you surround yourself with some amazing individuals, things happen. And even when you surround yourself with some not so great individuals. Like, I used to bar back and bartend for quite a while. Like, when I was working front desk at Spectrum Athletic Club, I also started working the bar, and we're at different nightclubs and working with different people. And you see all walks of life, not only in the gym, but outside of the gym in the bar. And so you meet these different people. Everyone's doing their thing, but you can tell who has purpose. You can tell who is actually doing something and who's just kind of going through the motions. It's crazy to think about, man. Like, it's amazing to see like the people that are still doing their thing and still going through the motions, and you can still amazing to see the people who are coming out of it and who have learned something from it and are actually trying to do something better, and it's for the greater collective. That's why we're here. It's for the greater collective.
And it all starts with the individual, like within. Everyone's like looking out, but looking in, what can I do to better myself? And I have to say, you have an amazing attitude. I love that attitude of, you appreciate what you have. You're not like, woe is me, I don't have a car or whatever. You're grinding, staying positive. There's a wonderful book. This is a success podcast, and I like to kind of point out some of the principles during the podcast. And the positive mental attitude is like pretty much number one. You're not going to get anywhere being fucking bitter and bitching all the time. And also, you were saying, surrounding yourself with individuals that are positive and doing things with their lives. And you never want to be the smartest guy in the room. You don't want to be the richest. You want to surround yourself with people that are kind of ahead of you, and to give you something to strive for and move towards. And those are two key principles right there that are in a book that it's like my Bible, and I love the Bible. Jesus is great, but Napoleon Hill wrote a book in 1908 called Think and Grow Rich. And it sounds like that's, it's all about the money, but it's not. It's about a way of being, a way of doing things that ultimately brings you to a better life, whether it's money or health. And I mean, it's just having a better outlook on life. He did take melted. Well, what he did was he interviewed like 500 different like super successful people, from Thomas Edison to Henry Ford, presidents, and many other like super successful people in that time. And the idea was to create a philosophy of success. And so he's like, what made them different than an average or less than average person? And it took him 20 years to write it, and he did it, and he's made millions of millionaires since that. And all the success books, if maybe not all of them, but many of them are derivatives of that book. So if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. Think and Grow Rich, or you can just listen to it. He's funny. If you find some of his old clips on YouTube, Napoleon Hill, it will show you kind of like what it takes to to do it. Like, and one of them is just faith, having faith in, like believing in yourself.
One thing that I forgot who told me, I think it was one of the members at the gym, and it was right after my mom's passing, and he had lost his dad. I believe it was the same guy, but he had lost his dad around 18 or 19. And I was already 29 by that time when I lost my mom. But he goes, you got to figure out whether this is happening, or this is happening for you, not to you.
Mm-hmm.
So like, this is for whatever reason, God is putting this in this place. The universe is putting this in your path for you. And so you're either going to grow from it, or you're just going to, sit around and mope and let yourself go down, down that hole, man. And I see it often. Like, even my roommate, he lost his father not too long ago. I think it was about a year and a half already. And I tell him pretty often, like, man, it happened for you. It didn't happen to you. It happened for you. So, like, what are you going to learn from it? When I get smashed on the mats, I come back the next day because I know that happened for me. The next day I come back solid, bro. I come back real solid. I'm like, hell yeah, I feel good. Last night I was discouraged, but today I feel solid. I'm ready to go. Let's train, dude. So having those things that happen to you, I mean, some people are allowing COVID to bring them into that place of depression and stress and all of this. And some people are allowing it to help them grow. Like, for here at the gym, like, again, I said it before, but people are now seeking the help. People are now ready to learn. Everyone's ready to go and learn something new. It's a paradigm shift. I think COVID happened for a reason, and we can go down that rabbit hole too. But when you really think about it, the fundamental truth is it's for the greater collective. Why are we here? Why did this happen? We might not know the why, but let's move forward. How can I help my fellow man? How can I help the greater collective? How can I grow myself to where I can help my neighbor? My neighbor can help his neighbor. I can help my community, whether it be the jiu-jitsu and law enforcement that I'm doing, or if I'm just teaching someone a movement practice with the steel mace, or mobility drills to help their knees feel a little bit better. Coming into the actualization that I'm actually here for a purpose. I wasn't born by accident. We're here for a purpose. Robert, you're doing something crazy, man. You're out there. You're doing your thing. Again, I came across SHEATH underwear. It's my favorite underwear. I threw everything out the window, man. Like everything else, I don't even know about Hanes anymore. It's all SHEATH for me now, dude. So that's one thing I appreciate you for, man. Like if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have come across SHEATH.
Well, I appreciate that, and I try to. I mean, if you're not helping people, what are you doing? You know.
Yep.
But also, it kind of also has to start, or with yourself, and make sure you're helping yourself so that you can help others, and so. It's like a combination of the two by helping yourself, but don't be greedy, don't be selfish, share all, what share your knowledge, share your experiences, and let people know like you are human.
Sometimes in my IG post, I'll put learn, grow, share. Sometimes I'll put that, and if I learn something new, I'm going to grow from it. Once I grow from it, I'm going to share it with someone else.
And that is, like the web of humans that, we are, if we can stop fighting each other over some bullshit, like who's going to be president, like that, don't let that like consume you, like help local, like be more local focused in your community. And I mean, whatever your political stance is, whatever is fine, but like it's consuming our nation, and we need to just turn that shit off or something. I don't fucking like the only way, like they're trying to control us, and the way they control us is by us paying too much attention and letting it consume us and not grow and not help each other. Like the only way they can keep us under control, like whatever, like control is by keeping us fighting. If we could just all, not necessarily unite against the power per se, but don't let them, I don't know, the way they maintain this control and I believe a lot of that shit is corrupt. There's a lot of fucking, where's the money going? Like we could have more programs, and more programs could be towards funding your school or something, like maybe you would get some sort of government stipend into the school to fund the school and schools throughout the nation, instead of funding these people's, they're already rich. Like
the one thing my dad taught me growing up is what did he say? Super toilet paper. I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, sex, things, and power. People are like the powers that be are only looking for those three things: sex, things, and power. Yeah, and it resonated pretty crazy because, man, when you think about it, like there's always powers in play, and whether we're in jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna try and gain power over you. Whether I'm in side mount or I'm gonna try and get a dominant position, which is cool. We're in training, but then you take that outside of the mats and. The same thing. It happens too often in our government. When I was having this conversation with this officer, telling me that these guys don't want to get hurt, but he also said that like the city doesn't care, the department doesn't care. They're only going to teach so much, so it's up to the officer to go out and get get that extra training outside of the department. And then when they go outside of the apartment, I mean, like they don't want to get hurt. So, like, what power do I have right now to be able to make an impact in someone else? So I'm thinking about the macro, but I'm also thinking about the micro things to where, who do I have an effect? Yes, I've been able to control myself and I've been able to grow myself. All right, now who else can I affect? It's that spider web, like you said. It's that spider web of an impact. Can I have a bigger spider web of impact to where I'm able to help my brother, whether he be in the office behind a desk all day and I'm giving him some mobility drills to help his low back, or is he on the streets making a call of, someone, whether he's pulling someone over and he doesn't know what situation he's about to dive into. So am I able to equip person with more tools for their tool belt, more weapons for their arsenal, just like Leo did for me, teach me a system of movement. Same thing On Academy did, same thing that my coach did for me on the mats. Like, it's everything that we go through makes a difference. It happens for us, not to us. So how can I grow from it? How can I teach others to not go through that same situation, not go through that same heartache? But some things are out of our hands, but we actually have a lot of it in our own hands, to be honest.
Yeah. So much is in our hands, and if we let it not be in our hands and make excuses, or they're not, letting me live to my fullest potential, like, you need to check your mind state and frame of perspective on reality, because you have, kind of have the power within you. And there's many examples that made it from the ghettos and other countries to come here and create fortunes and jobs, and how, and they inspire others to do great things. Like, I don't know, I like Michael Jordan, and if you watch that The Last Dance on Netflix, it's, like, sure, he was gifted to physically, but it was the mental. Like, that dude had the mentality that it takes to be the best at what he did. And maybe you won't be the best, but you can get, because there's always somebody better, kind of type of a thing.
Yeah,
but,
man.
But like, shoot for it.
There's levels to this shit.
Yeah. But
there's levels to everything, man. Like, you see the levels within jiu-jitsu practitioners, between steel mace practitioners. Man, just the way someone speaks, you can tell that there's a level to your vocabulary. There's a level to how I live my life on health related stuff. Whether I'm vegan. I tell my clients, like, you want to think like a vegan, but eat like a caveman. And it's funny because it like kind of paints a picture for them in their head. And I tell them, like, what my mom went through was, for me, I feel like a lot of it was cultural. Like eating the tortillas and the masa and the sodas and the barbacoa and all of that, which it's fun, it tastes good, but
that reminds me of San Antonio. And I love the Mexican culture. I grew up in that, and like half of my family is Mexican, but it can lead to certain health kind of
dude. Like, there's levels to everything. You can take it up a notch, or you can stay where you're at. It's up to you.
It is up to you. And on that note, I do love it. That was a perfect ending. It is all up to you. There's a guy, like, his name is Michael Malice, and homage to him. He says, "What was your favorite part of this podcast?" That's a question to you. Like, what was your favorite part of this conversation?
Honestly, man, I wasn't expecting to really talk about any of the steel mace stuff. I honestly wasn't sure what we were going to speak about. I know whenever Steven had contacted me, he mainly just said to speak about holistic lifestyle and fitness and healthy living and really just what I was doing here at the gym and things like that. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but I do appreciate how we dove into a little bit of steel mace. We dove into a little bit of jiu-jitsu. And then we even took it a little bit further with the law enforcement and kind of what's going on. And right now, what's going on with our country, I appreciate that I was able to highlight some of that stuff that I wasn't really expecting to highlight. And then, so I appreciate the questions. I appreciate you guys bringing me on, man. Like, I'm always super grateful to have any type of conversation of depth.
Yeah, that's what I love about podcasting, and you are welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on. This was one of our better podcasts, and it was fun. And I wrote down the super toilet paper, and that was a clever
Yeah.
Sex, things, and power. Shout out to your dad. Very cool conversation. Like I said, I want to come see you next time I'm in town in San Antonio.
Yeah, most definitely, brother.
Your gym, which is called Submission Concepts, I do believe.
Yes, sir. Submission Concepts here in San Antonio. The mats are always open to you, my brother.
I love it. I appreciate it. And you need anything, so you let us know, as you know, if we can help in any way, especially when it comes to promoting and with the law, getting more law enforcement in there, because they're getting a fucking pretty bad rap at the moment, and I know, well, whatever.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I think you're doing a great thing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Sambo Slice 88. You can follow him on Instagram. Clearly, he is one of us. He's trying to better himself and others around him and doing God's work, if you will. Shout out to Leo Savage, because he is an inspiration as well. I need to talk to him again soon. But thank you for joining me. Go to sheathunderwear.com, of course. Buy yourself a pair. Promo code RPG, save you 20%. They already know.
Yes,
and
sir.
Go find a gym in your local area and get working on bettering yourselves. That's it.